Well, Russ, thanks for having me out to Empower Field at Mile High. I am excited to be here with you today. And I just wanted to start and say, tell me a little bit about the Broncos and what you're doing here with the team.
Yeah, I came out here in 2008. Before that, I was with the Falcons from early 2000 to 2008. So I've been doing football for a long time. And I oversee IT for the club and for the organization. So we have two sites. We have the stadium and the training center, which is kind of nice. We only have the two sites, although the stadium is a little bit of an anomaly. It's a big site to manage, right? So whenever we purchase things, everything's more in bulk. So you don't buy like two TVs, right? You buy thousands of TVs at the one time. So, but it's fun. It's challenging. It's engaging. The business folks here are fantastic to work with. And the different departments collaborate well cross-functionally to deliver some good systems to the fans and players and the.
Excellent. Can you talk a little bit about your security strategy around, training during the week and then moving into the games on the weekends?
Yeah. So from an outside perspective, you would think, okay, game days, drafts, like some of the big events during the year, those are cybersecurity tools need to be on point. Or realistically, they need to be on point every day, from day to day, right? The bad guys don't care if it's Friday night or if it's Tuesday morning at 3 a.m., right? They're trying to hit you where you're least expecting it, kind of thing. But really, and it's not just the Broncos, but it's across businesses worldwide, right? Everybody has upped their game from a cybersecurity platform perspective, and so we do the same with the league and the Broncos internally. So. Our goal is to really keep continually driving those security applications to stay ahead of the bad guys, right? And so we have different platforms that we run way more than we used to back in the day, that's for sure, just because the way the environment is, the way the bad guys are, kind of determines what your defenses are, right? And so we want to make sure we stay ahead of them. And even moving into the AI piece and that ML piece and what we can do internally, but also what our partners can do with that to make us stronger and more robust and more secure.
What are some of the key things you're looking at from a, security standpoint?
Yeah, that's a great question. So number one, we have security platforms that we have in place now. So you always want to meet with those folks continually and make sure their roadmaps are aligned with your roadmaps from a deliverables perspective. So in other words, so example, if we're using an endpoint client and then we research and we realize, okay, they're going to use some other analytics tool on the back end, or there's a different dashboard piece that makes the UI a little bit better from us management-wise, we can then talk to those folks and kind of push them if we can, like, okay, what's your roadmap in doing this, company ABC? Are we going to get there or not, right, kind of thing? So it's constantly asking those questions and asking your team to ask those questions along that journey to make us improve and become more robust year to year. It's not just me, by the way. It really isn't me. It's my team, right? It's all collaboration on the back end and getting them in lockstep with you and making sure the deliverables are aligned across both sites, but across the business-wise too. The last thing we want to do is roll out some security platform that's great for security-wise, but the users just can't deal with it, right? You don't want that either. And so I think you got to take all those different variables into consideration while you take this journey. And it is a journey. It's dynamic in nature. So you just can't pick a tool that we picked 7 years ago and expect to run it for 20 years. We don't do that. No companies really do that these days. You got to stay ahead, and you always got to do that due diligence, I think, looking out further and seeing what's coming down the road so you can have a little bit of grasp on that, right? And so you can select the best tool that you can.
Well, we're delighted to be a cybersecurity partner for you now. Sure. And so can I ask, what made you choose Checkpoint to go on that journey with you?
Made us choose Checkpoint? That's a great question. So it's a really good product. The vulnerabilities are really low on it. You guys keep driving the product and the technology roadmap forward inside the product. It's more the relationship, the partnership, and you guys coming to the forefront and stepping your best foot forward to help us get to where we needed to be, right? So it's not really, the technology is first and foremost, but it really is about the people and the relationship. That is where the rubber meets the road for me and my team.
That's wonderful. And you mentioned that you were looking for a more nimble solution. What about our solution enables you?
Yeah, and I remember Checkpoint wanted to. They're like, Russ, you guys really need to put Maestro on top of the firewalls, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I like our firewalls are working good, and anyway, so we wound up going that route, and honestly, Chris and Nick on my team, they really like that platform. It makes us a little more flexible. You can add, so basically, it's a over the top of rack layer, if you will, that kind of manages the firewalls underneath, so they can then be aggregated together to be a firewall, and you can put different form factors of those firewalls underneath that. So I think that was like a first in the industry from a level A player kind of firewall. Ease of use, flexibility, longevity for that, right? So we can even use some old firewalls. They're still valuable, right? If they have the juice under the hood to push data the way we need it to be pushed, then we can still have those in our architecture, and it gives us a little more time in service for those pieces of gear.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned earlier a little bit about, AI and machine learning, right, technology. How is that playing into, your future strategy here?
Yeah, so as you say, we are getting learned up on this. And I recently did an event with Checkpoint and some other folks in New York not too long ago from a high level, talking 10,000 foot level. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited, but I'm also a little bit nervous, right? Because there is a little bit of the Wild West out there right now with it. And so we're taking that journey. We're already moving down the road. And I went out to a consulting firm recently, a couple weeks ago, me and a couple folks from the org here on the tech side. And we really dove in deeply for a whole day session on AI and ML and just kind of the art of the possible with it. But it was a little bit eye-opening. It doesn't have to be so scary, though. Like, we don't have to start off, okay, Skynet's not coming and taking over everything, right? It's not that. It's more, I look at it, and you got to break it down into mini silos so we can work with our finance team to maybe there's some things that could be automated, or some AI could be, or ML could be behind there to make their jobs a little easier, gain efficiencies. And really what I'm looking for is smaller wins in that world to start off with.
It's more like your internal operations.
Oh, yeah, totally internal, right?
The sales team,
Yep. And I think we have a lot of opportunities there that we can do better. You always can do better, right? There's always ways to improve across the board with different departments, but I think the AI piece will. So we're hosting a session here in a couple of weeks, kind of introducing AI from a 10,000 foot level to the company, and just kind of this is what we could do with this, and kind of demystifying. It's not so scary. There are some scary parts to it, but it's not. I think if we can all kind of get in the same boat together and do some small wins on that front, then we can kind of drive it forward. And I think it'll pick up momentum as we continue on. One thing that scares me a little bit, and I'll lean on Checkpoint a little bit, and some, and we use Harmony from Checkpoint from our Microsoft protection suite out there as well, from email and Teams and all that, is where we can make those tools a little more robust with AI. I'll lean on those partners to kind of help us in that regard, right? And so AI is a big buzzword. Like, if you go to a conference right now, everybody has blah, 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 and AI, blah, 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 powered by AI or ML, right? And so, but I'm curious to see where that, like a year from now, how we're using it, how other companies are using it, how our departments internally are using it, and then how do we make our fans' experiences and journeys better with it as well.
Exactly. So you talked a lot about your back-end technology and the security there, but you just mentioned, your employees, and, you're using our Harmony suite. How do you look at, the different areas where you need to be secure? So from employees being secure, your fans when they're here, people that are coming from events, what are the different technologies that you're looking at based on the different audiences?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I will lead off by saying we do have compliance pieces we have to. So number one, we take credit cards, so you got to be PCI compliant. We do, we have medical records because we got players that get injured. We've got HIPAA compliant. So we have some other governance compliance pieces and parts that we have to protect, and we do that well. And then there's other sensitive data because we're a football team. So we kind of like our playbooks, and they're secure, right? And so, and then there's, Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, and then there's everybody has finance teams. Everybody has different sensitive data out there from legal and HR and some of the, so all that data has to be protected. We take more of a holistic, okay, where we need to be comply, we're compliant, right? But we need to take a more holistic approach across the board.
So, given your experience, right, in your role, but also working with Checkpoint, what advice would you offer to someone at, another team or another venue?
Yeah, couple. You mean words of wisdom? Words of wisdom from me. There's not a whole lot there, but I'll give a couple. I'll give a couple tidbits. Number one, keep driving your team to do the due diligence, right? It takes time. Anyway, so we just went through this Wi-Fi project, right? And so there was some traveling. We visited some other stadiums, right? And some other partners and collaborating. It takes time, but you want to make the best choice you can at the time, right? Technology is always changing, like you said, like it's an evolution. But I think the due diligence, keep driving your team to think out of their box a little bit, right? Think out of their box, keep driving that. I would say number one, that, and you can't be stagnant. You got to always be looking forward. Number two, I'd say dollars matter, but technology platforms delivering the way the business wants them to deliver. And then, like I said earlier, probably the people and the relationship pieces are just as important, right? Because they're your part, and rubber meets the road. I don't like swapping partners all the time, right? From year to year. Okay, we got say next year we get an AI partner. Okay, then we're like, we don't like, all right, let's switch up the AI partner. We're gonna go with somebody else. I'm like, all right, that's cool, but it's more time spent. So do the due diligence on the front end to kind of pick those partners as best you can. And I will give kudos to Checkpoint. They've been great partners the last couple of years. I know I sound like a sales guy for Checkpoint, but it's not really that. It's number one, they got a great platform. Number two, it's flexible, modular. Number three, the people there are really good, right? They're just good people. So not counting the people in the room. Right. No, I'm just kidding. No, they've been a great partner. No, and I like it because they're driving their technology forward, and they're bringing us along, right? And they're bringing us along for that journey with them, right? And wherever we can give input, if it can make our products better, and I care about the league and the other clubs, I really do. Maybe not on Sunday, not as much, but I really do care about the league and the other clubs to drive us all forward because it makes us all better as a league. And so if there's, I'd say the last thing, I will steal, cheat. I'll take if somebody's doing better than me, I will gladly take that platform or take that, I'll take that system or whatever they're doing, take that process. And if it's better than what we're doing now, I'm all about implementing it. Yeah. Not that I'm going to plagiarize, but I'm just, yeah. If they're doing collaboration, if there's something people are doing better, and it's a much more collaborative world than it was even when I first started in the NFL. So, yeah.
So when you look at your technology stack, how comprehensive would you say it is?
So we are, great question. We are built for game days, right? There's nothing gets my blood going than like the first preseason game of the year. Now, granted, we can have concerts, we can do other events throughout the whole summer, right? And we do that, right? Taylor Swift was here for a couple nights, and that got my blood pressure going because I know she was going to drive my wireless to its breaking point almost. But game day, there's nothing like that. We have a full stadium. The broadcast is here. And then it even amps up a level if it's a primetime game. If it's a Sunday night game, a Monday night game, a Thursday night game, all eyes are on the venue here, right? And so I, especially in the beginning of the year, once we kick off the year and we get going, it's almost like starting your car up for the first time for the year when you kick it off for the preseason game. And there's a lot of little things we got to fix, and we try to stay on top of it throughout the whole year, but really turning that car on for the first time and then getting through those first couple games are key. And then, so it becomes more fun towards the end of the year and hopefully, trying to make playoff runs and that kind of thing. But it's more intense in the beginning of the year, but we're built for game days from a high availability, from a backbone perspective, from a wired and wireless network infrastructure, from a security perspective. We build things not for the day-to-day, even though we deal with everything day-to-day, but we build things for game days.
All right. Well, Russ, thank you so much for your time. I've learned a lot. I appreciate your partnership between the Broncos and the Checkpoint. We're looking forward to even more in the future.
Yeah, ditto. Right back at you folks. And honestly, you guys have been really good partners, sincerely, throughout the whole thing, and looking forward to the years to come.
Wonderful. Thank you.